The woman just went to the river to take a bath, but her boyfriend behind her secretly picked up a gun. It turns out he suspected that his new girlfriend was actually an assassin sent by his enemies. Otherwise, why would she always have a gun in her bag? When he saw his girlfriend reach into her bag, Nick immediately got ready to shoot. But to his surprise, what his girlfriend pulled out was actually a bottle of sunscreen. She wanted Nick to help her put it on her back. At this point, Nick couldn't hold back anymore, so he asked his girlfriend why she kept a gun in her bag. And it was only then that Nick finally learned the truth. It turned out that the reason his girlfriend kept a gun in her bag was because 2 of her close friends had been murdered by criminals, so she carried the gun purely for self-defense. Hearing this, Nick finally breathed a sigh of relief. When he got home, he quickly called his boss to ask if he had found out who was trying to assassinate him. But the boss said he still had no leads, and even gave Nick another task. He wanted Nick to help a female client assemble a sniper rifle. As long as he completed this final job, the boss would allow Nick to retire early. Eager to break free from the organization, Nick had no choice but to take on this last job. He assembled the gun as requested and successfully completed the transaction with the buyer. But just as he was about to run away with his girlfriend, that client suddenly aimed the gun at his head. Unexpectedly, the gun misfired and exploded. Hearing the gunshot, Nick quickly told his girlfriend to wait for him at their usual spot while he rushed toward the source of the shot. It turned out Nick had already sensed something was off about this female client, so he had tampered with the gun in advance. And as it turned out, just as he suspected, the assassin was indeed the female client he had been dealing with. Nick then approached her, and while the assassin was still barely alive, he forced her to reveal who had sent her. It was only now that Nick finally realized the person who had been trying to assassinate him all along was the very boss he had loyally served. Nick had followed his boss for most of his life and knew many of the boss's darkest secrets. So, to eliminate any future threats, the boss decided to send a top assassin to silence Nick before he could retire. Knowing full well that it wasn't safe to stay there, Nick immediately tried to leave. But as he was walking, he suddenly sensed someone was following him. Without thinking, he fired several shots behind him, and the person he hit was his boss. After his boss died, Nick drove off to meet his girlfriend. Suddenly, a sharp pain hit his abdomen. His boss had managed to shoot him back. Luckily, no vital organs were hit. Nick pushed through the pain and headed to their usual spot. When he saw his girlfriend waiting for him not far away, Nick couldn't hold on any longer and collapsed onto the steering wheel. Although Nick took out all his enemies, he collapsed from excessive blood loss and was unable to keep his promise to run away with his girlfriend. And with that, the movie comes to an end.